One time we had this old man by the name of Lord Dog that came and stayed with us. I've told some of this before, but this is a different story. Come and stay with us, October, clear till April, and what you call an Indian visit. And he and my grandfather used to tell stories back and forth and just enjoy each other's company as two old men would, you know. And I used to make tobacco for them, and we looked at that leaf of tobacco we had and chopped it up with the cambium layer of red willow. Like for instance, if I'm going to say this for the old men when they were smoking, well, I'd go down there and I'd put a little bit of sage there and I'd have it ready for them. They'd say to me, "Chanumpa," okay. Cha is wood, numpa means to smoke. Everything they turn clockwise like this, because that's the way the world turns, you see. They would sit there for hours, but when the sun was down real deep, they knew it was time for them to retire, because they knew that that's the way nature was. If they looked outside, everything would be quiet, because all the animals, as soon as the darkness came by, they'd all rest. He wants to be your friend. He's going to crawl in that thing with you. You're going to let him. Yeah. But in the old days, every rider would have about 5 of these, because you'd wear them out, you see, because you were riding a big country in those days on cattle, and sometimes you'd ride for days, and so you had to change horses all the time. And they had a hand that did nothing but run the horses and then gather them up, and had a little rope corral they'd put them in there like that to keep them while you were traveling, see, because you'd probably travel miles with these cattle. But that's all done now. They got trucks to do that, and helicopters to go flying, and it takes all the romance out of being a cowboy. There's no fun being a cowboy anymore. You'll notice here, Eric, that the horse kind of keeps his hind legs up underneath him. You see. He don't stand like that, because if somebody comes in here like that, he can't go forward and turn around. He's got to go like that. And so what he does is he falls back on his hind end, and then his front end comes around and he pivots right back here, see? That's the thing that I like about him. Now you see him, he's moving over this way. But you see, he's not going to walk around that way. He's going to move his front end over here. See? And that's strange. Look at him. Yeah, look at him. Yeah. Yeah, he's a good old pony. Come here, son. Come here. Come on. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come on. Back. 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 Come here. Come on. The animals are a heck of a lot more compassionate than some human beings. I'm not saying all, because that would be wrong. But the thing about it is the whole picture of the spirit. And you can't take a moving picture of the spirit. But it's something that you can feel and somehow in a spiritual way touch it, feel of it and touch it like this. But you can't do it physically. You can't do this and do it. But you can do it with the thoughts that's in your mind and here. And again, I'm really determined to understand the difference between the mind and the heart and the soul, because that's where you live. You live right here. You don't live up in the head. this old man was telling this story about the fight at the Little Bighorn. He asked me to tell what I knew about as far as reading in the book, and I told him, I said, well, they told about the Battle of the Bighorn. And he laughed. He said, well, he said, it was only a fight. It wasn't a battle, so to speak. He said, it only lasted an afternoon, I think. I was down at Denver to a big powwow down there. All of a sudden, this drum started like this, and they started singing a song. And I said to myself, my gosh, I've heard that song someplace. What the heck? Where'd I hear it? And in my mind, I'm about 60 now, but I go back to when I was just a boy. And I remember this little bald-faced man. I remember throwing my leg over here and starting back in time, riding. And so I could just, in my mind, now I don't know how this happens, but you can begin to understand that all of these things are possible. And I kept riding, tick, 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 like this. And I kept looking at the ground below me, and I didn't recognize anything. And finally I could come to the Rocky Mountains, and I knew the Rocky Mountains because our people were always, seemed to me like they were always going to the Rocky Mountains. And so I got over that thing and coming down, riding along, looking down, looking down, looking down. And all at once, I looked down there like that, and here's my beloved Missouri River. Gee whiz, we're flowing down to the southward. And just off of that, the Grand River comes in, just a little north, then Oak Creek. And I knew that I was home because, maybe 3 miles up Oak Creek is where I lived. And all of a sudden, I could remember that song. And I remembered because old Low Dog, Shunka Kuchiela, sang it for my grandfather.